help to motivate you all to know that if I can change, you can change. I'm not perfect. I got a lot of bullshit still left that I'm working through. But I just want to continue to help inspire and motivate others. And just I don't want to. I couldn't imagine passing away. I couldn't imagine passing away at the age that my mother was. I couldn't imagine my child and my family not having me. Um, it's good to see that I'm important to people. It's good to feel important to myself. And yeah, we got a lot of shit to do. We got a lot of shit to do. So we can't go nowhere yet. So yes, I just want to stop by. It's your girl B.MARIE. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Where I'm From Podcast with your girl B.MARIE. Today's episode was inspired by some personal healing steps that I've been taking over the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to jump on here just for a little bit with you all and have a conversation and just discuss with you some tips and tricks on how I get through serious things in my life, how I get through healing, what my healing process looks like. Those of you who know me, those of you who have been here for a while, thank you. I appreciate you. And all the newcomers, I definitely appreciate you as well. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video and hit that notification bell so you can be made aware each week when a new episode comes out. So I'm just going to jump right in. I decided to do this episode today because this is part of my healing process. And as an entrepreneur, I truly believe, and I've said this 1,000 times over, that I truly believe that successful businesses are created from the outside, from the inside out. You have to, well, I highly suggest, and what works for me is that I go inside of myself and I participate in my own healing journey to help me get through things, because I'm not only a business owner, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm not only an entrepreneur, I am a daughter, I am a person that in my family that people depend on, and also I am a woman who desires to have more, to continue to have more. I continue to build legacy. I continue to desire to build legacy. I continue to desire for my businesses to flourish, to grow. I have goals in this life as an entrepreneur and just as a human, having this human experience. And with that being said, to accomplish those goals, I must first and foremost take care of my mental health. So I wanted to jump on here and just have a conversation today with you all. I decided not to do this episode with anybody. This episode is going to be extremely personal. I want to open up the conversation and the dialogue on just really truly reflecting on how your childhood and things that you have been through ultimately shape your life. However, they affect your life. However, they do not need to shape your life in its totality. We can continue to make choices to help in our healing, help in our growth. We can continue to make choices to do therapy. And if you don't feel like therapy works for you, find something else to be an outlet for you for your pain. Because not only does this life provide joy for us, it also provides pain. So we have to be able to, just begin to learn the tools on how to communicate with ourselves, how to reflect and take a look at ourselves in the mirror. So again, with that being said, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to have a conversation with you all today about my childhood and my upbringing, how it was being a sibling, how it was having a sibling, some of my experiences, and how some of those experiences when I was a little girl into my teenage years, into my adult life have truly affected in the way that I interact and the way that I show up in this world. And as part of my healing process goes, I am a firm believer for myself that therapy, journaling, meditation, and just getting this stuff out of me and not keeping it bottled up inside of me and just continue to move forward with business and family and distractions and things of that nature, how that can really affect me continuously in my life as I continue to move on. So, excuse me, a little thirsty. When it's time, make me some tea, get me some elderberry, baby. All right. So I'm a 42-year-old woman who grew up in Pleasantville, New Jersey, right next to Atlantic City, New Jersey. I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey Medical Center 42 years ago to my mother and my father. So what inspired me to do this video this week in depth is because I've talked over and over in different videos, I've broken up pieces of my life, but I just wanted to jump on here and just share it more in depth and how I have come to the conclusion this week, come to these conclusions that I will share with you later on in the video. Shout out to all my entrepreneurs out there. I hope you are doing a wonderful time with your business. I am sending love and light energy to you. I hope for you all prosperity and continued healing, especially those who are in the realm of helping others to heal as well, such as myself. Coaching, business coaching, working in the salon, working with individuals every day on, just fully expanding their life, their entrepreneurship goals, and their financial freedom for themselves and their family. The last couple of days has been extremely hard for me because so just to rewind a little bit, I grew up in a household when I was first born, there was my mother and my father, and then I had a sibling. My mother came into the relationship with my father with a child. I'm not exactly sure of how old he was. He was very young, like 2 or 3 years old. And apparently it has been brought to my attention, which I've always known just based on how my dad interacts with him, that he internally and externally made a promise to himself and to our mother that, even though that wasn't his biological child, that is his son, which I agree, that is his son. I would never take that away because even, bonus parents or step parents, whatever it is that you want to call them, they are the children's parents too. So I would never, ever, ever take that away. Also, she came into the relationship with a son. The way that our mother was, and the way that our dad is, you can tell, like, just now that I'm at this big age, that type of relationship dynamic wasn't going to work. And it didn't. It worked for a little while, a few years. They got pregnant with me. And then, my mom moved in her direction and she co-parented with my dad outside of the home. And, my dad continued to raise me, his daughter, and also my mom and my mom's son, which, in turn became his son because that was his stepchild. So I say all that to say this, right? I grew up in a household with them, and as much as I love my dad and as much as he has been an amazing father over the last 15 years, it was not always like that. So I grew up in a house pretty much just learning, either not learning enough tools or being exposed to unhealthy family dynamics. My dad, dated a woman when I was younger who was addicted to heroin. So I was subjected to that as a child, to, watching her in her active addiction. And basically she was a scammer. She used to make casino coins for the casino for her to make money. I don't mean to laugh, but the reason why I laugh is because I think about how the casinos now have them tickets. And back in the day, they used to have these coins. And I remember coming home from school on more than one occasion and just coming up to the house and like not even being able to come in the house because her and her friend were in the kitchen cooking up casino coins so they could go to the casino and get some money. I don't mean to laugh, but that shit is mad old school to me. Like, because now for a long time I've been used to seeing like the tickets in the casino. And then also, you know, my mom not being a stable parent, she married. Her and my father were not married. Apparently this week there's been brought to my attention, you know, which is it really doesn't make or break me, this statement. But my brother, we have an estranged relationship, and you know, with a lot of years of healing and therapy, I am finally able to like fully confront him with the fully confront him with the absolute understanding that we will not have a relationship at this time until some healing happens on his part. And I was faced with that this week because I made a decision that I was going to confront him in front of my father over some things, and I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, like, you know, just being exposed early on to alcoholism, addiction, my dad raising two kids, you know, and shout out to my dad for making a decision to, you know, even though it was brought to my attention that like when my mom got pregnant, my dad really wasn't for having another child. But I'm here and they made it work. So, you know, shout out to my dad for taking in someone else's child and making sure that he had a pretty decent life as far as like, you know, not being homeless and, you know, things of that nature, never going hungry. Now, emotionally, I will say that we didn't grow up with an emotionally available father. So I do hold space and compassion and empathy for the way that me and my brother was raised. So I hold that space for myself and for my brother. And the reason why I make that point is because, and I'll further along it later, is that even though we hold space for people, compassion space, we hold understanding, empathy space. I have like, I am super aware. Like if I wasn't aware before this week, 100%, like I am 100% aware that no matter how much we might want a relationship with somebody, I got my pillow here for comfort. You see, you know, little blankets, I need my little pillow. But even though we might have love for a person or we love them or we hold space for them, a healing space, a compassion space, a space for empathy, a space for healing, does not mean that we need to continue to cross our own boundaries or not have boundaries for ourselves. We do not have to continue to allow people, no matter if they're our family or not, to continue to have access to us if it is detrimental to our healing journey. And I will honestly say that the last couple of days that I have been extremely depressed, and I've had to really sit and meditate today and really try to figure this thing out because we're not getting ready to go out like that. Like, we're not going to let that linger on for too long. So I'm going to jump right into my tools. And part of my toolbox system is creating a video and helping to inspire and motivate others not to stay stuck in that. Get up out that dark place and let's continue to make moves, right? So back to my childhood. At 5 years old, I was molested by my brother's friend. And I am totally transparent. I feel like this probably is going to be the first time that I actually really talk about this. Hopefully it doesn't make me too emotional. And I also want to say that I don't share my story or my history of my life to play victim or anything like that, because I don't stay stuck in that energy. I continue to move on. I do realize that things have been coming up lately that I thought that I had worked through enough so they wouldn't affect me in such a negative way. However, obviously I have not. Hence why I even took Sunday off of work. Hence why I've taken a couple days off to make sure that I take care of my mental health and I don't just continue to work and just chase the money like, you know, I used to do before a year ago when my partner passed away. All right, so when I was 5 years old, from about 5 to 6 years old, I was molested by my brother. My brother is about 5 years older than me. I was molested by not my brother, by my brother's friend. And my brother was still a child. He was about 11 or 12 years old, and the friend was 14. So the little boy used to come around and hang out with my brother, and I was younger. And for that period of time, I was molested in various different ways. I'm not really going to get into it. It happened over a year and a half. And I remember there were times where I was being molested by this boy, and my brother was there. And I choose to share my story because hopefully it can help free me from the way that I just really been showing up in the world, and I have taken on a role of this in my life and my career. So here it goes. So I was molested by him, and my brother, he knew about it. There were times where he was there. I do not have recollection of him participating in that, so I wouldn't say that. But I do remember there were multiple times where he was there. So I was under the impression at such a young age that this guy was my boyfriend, and that went on for a while. And then finally, my brother found the courage. Shout out to my brother for that action. I really appreciate that. That he found the courage to go ahead and tell. And moving forward after that, actually, like even before that, like I don't recall a time in my childhood where my brother and me had a brother sister loving relationship. Like I don't remember a time. My recollection of what happened during that time was my mother. I was somewhere visiting family member, and I feel like I can't remember exactly who called me on the phone, but they called me on the phone, and they called the family member on the phone because I was a child, 6, 7 years old. And they had a conversation with me about this, and I really thought that this boy was my boyfriend. And this is the narrative that the whole scenario was like played out in, as if he was my boyfriend. So I told, and it's been told to me that the guy was arrested. But from what I can remember, the boy's family moved him away. I believe it was Philadelphia, but don't quote me on that. But he was living with one parent. I believe it was his mother, and then he got moved to the other parent, and it might have been the father, mother. But I was so young, right? So, my mother went insane about it. And I remember talking to the police a little bit as a child, but then nothing ever came about. Like nothing. Moving forward throughout the years, like no one ever talked about it. I don't remember it being addressed. I don't remember there ever being a resolution to it. We kind of just moved on with life. Fast forward to when I was 15, that was like the first significant thing that I could remember that happened to me that ultimately affected my life in a negative way. That's where the ball got rolling with that scenario, and my dad being emotionally unavailable, and my brother learning the characteristics of being an emotionally unavailable man, because he was raised just like me, like by our father. So I remember when I was 15 that maybe even before our mother passed away. But yeah, so just rewind a little bit. I remember when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I was still a virgin. I never had sex with a boy. And then I was about 14 and that happened. And I remember when I made the decision to do that as a teenager, it was I made the decision, right? Consensual. But it was with a grown up, somebody that was like 20 or 21 years old. So I remember that. And then there was a pattern after that of me always being drawn to older men. So when I was 15, our mother passed away. She had a heart attack. She was 43 years old. She had a heart attack. I'm about to be 43. So a lot of that plays a lot on, my mental. Let me just put a little shea butter on my. Shout out to the Brazilian Wax Bar. Make sure y'all go to www.citywwaxbar.com. Book your appointment for Brazilian Wax. Yes, I'm going to put a little plug in. All right, so when I was 15, our mother passed away. She had a heart attack. She didn't have a healthy lifestyle. She was a smoker. She had a lot of stress. She wasn't in the career that she loved. She didn't have a husband, a marriage that was healthy. She did drugs. Just drank alcohol throughout the years. You know what I mean? Just really didn't eat the right foods. Didn't take care of herself. Didn't save money. Staying with my dad, like just never really learning like how to really be a healthy human. Just the tools that we were given or the lack of tools, it truly affected how I showed up in the world moving forward. So once our mother passed away, I remember having this moment with my brother on the balcony, where I was about to be 16 years old. I think I had one person that I lost my virginity to, and then I had one boyfriend after that. I just thought about who that was. I had one boyfriend after that. So when my mom passed away, I had some friends that I had a friend at the time that started to work for a escort service, and I was staying with my dad and my brother in these apartments in Absecon, New Jersey. And we went to my mom's funeral. And I remember after my mom's funeral, shortly after that, this friend had started working for escort service. And, she was coming to my house with a lot of money. Like she was in and out of limos, just doing stuff like that I had never seen. Like, you know what I mean? And those pretty much were my role models growing up, like drug dealers, pimps, prostitutes. At that time, I was going to an alternative school, a school in, shout out to Decatur Avenue School in Pleasantville, where I met my bestie. So I was, introduced to that lifestyle, whatever, and I ended up during that time, I went to this ain't gonna be a tell-all, so we're not gonna give specifics. But I started working. Y'all gotta wait till a documentary come out for y'all to get more specific locations and streets and all of that. But I ended up being taken under the wing, which I would call in the lifestyle of prostitution being groomed by this woman who owned an escort service in Atlantic City, New Jersey, with her husband. And that was all she wrote after that. Like I was about to be 16 years old. I ended up turning 16. The grooming process was, I'm still pretty square. Haven't had that many sexual partners, was not promiscuous at this point. Really just looking for someone to love me, because like after our mother passed away, I really felt at that time that I didn't have no one, because she was the only emotional available person in our lives. And unfortunately, I can tell to this day that my brother still has not healed from that. And there's a part of him that looks, I know this for a fact, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you why I'm sharing this stuff with you, because ultimately the main message of this is one, to always hold yourself accountable for the part that you play in every single situation that you have in your life. Two, get to know yourself so much that you have an immense amount of discernment that when you're interacting with people and you're having negative interactions with them, you can determine what part of that is your fault, what parts did you do good, what part did you do bad, what part is the stuff that they're still struggling with, that's their trauma that they're projecting off on you. And I don't mean in a cocky way, like you ain't never got shit wrong with you, it's always somebody else. Because that's the way not people, that's the way I was told, like that I'm always a victim, or this week by one person, that I'm not a good person. You know, I had this interaction with my brother, and I'm gonna lead up to that in a minute. I don't want to jump around too much. So I stayed in the lifestyle prostitution from the age of 16 until I was in my 20s. And during that time, I was raped. I had watched people shoot each other. I have been in areas where they were shooting. I was in bars where people were murdered. I didn't see the murder, so don't come looking for me for no information. But I used to hang out in spots where people would die. I've lost friends to gun violence. I've been robbed. I've robbed people. I've sold drugs. And also during that time, I was a female that was used by my brother financially, emotionally, and there's been many times in my life where I have tried to, and I forgot to go into that. I'm sorry. When our mother passed away, I remember there was a time we were on the balcony of our apartment where we lived out with our dad. And I was about to be 16 years old, and my brother had rolled up a blunt, and we were going to smoke, because I was smoking weed at the time, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, whatever, especially after losing my mother. Where I really felt in that moment that he was going to step up. He was an adult now. That he was going to step up and really hold that space that, in my mind, how a brother is supposed to be, a brother and a sister. I am a firm believer that your father and your mother and your brother and the people that you grow up around is how, as a child growing up, that's how you're going to make choices based on how they live their life, good or bad. You want to be like them, you don't want to be like them, or you're going to make choices trying to fill voids and look for things that they didn't provide for you. So many times we think that people, I don't know why we expect children to be doing so much. We put so much like expectation on children, or we put like, like, why did people expect for me to have it all together as a child? I don't understand that. And then also when our children are rebellious and things like that, we are part of the reason. Outside of your DNA and stuff that comes through, with them being born and stuff like that, we are part of the reason. They are learning. They are being shaped and molded by what they see, right? I didn't see my dad had healthy relationships. I didn't see my mother have healthy relationships. I didn't see anyone around me have healthy relationships, period. Growing up, I was bullied, right? Listen, and let me say this again. I'm not a victim. All this shit is just part of my story. I am, I survived it. I'm here to tell the story, which I'm truly grateful. And I've learned a lot of shit from it, good and bad. I do know that there's still a lot of things that need to be unpacked. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be all the way healed. Everything is a journey that's going to last until the day I transition on to become an ancestor. So prostitution comes, right? Now I move into a more powerful role of my life, because I look like a little something. Um, I'm able to utilize my body, my hustle, my strength that I didn't even know I had. And I got into a role where I felt like I was in control. So when I was about to be 16 after our mother passed away, me and my dad got into an argument. And from my perspective, and him telling me, basically to go ahead on, I had to live on my own from right after my mother passed away. So I started to work for escort service. At first, during the grooming process, I thought I was just going to be there in the office answering the telephones. Fast forward a couple weeks, the woman who owned the escort service sent me out with another working girl to Rainbow in Renaissance Plaza in Atlantic City to buy some suits, some cheap ass suits. And that's where it started. The first date that I went on was just a guy in the casino wanting to have someone to hang out with him all night. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I know it was like a few $1,000s, and it got me hooked because I'm like, dang, you can make this much money fast, right? Not knowing all that came with that lifestyle. So, shout out to cosmetology and that for saving my life. And we'll talk about that later. So me and my brother had that moment where I thought that it was going to change, and it didn't. He still wasn't there for me. He had his own experiences and his own, stuff that he had to go through, his own trauma that he had to work through. And unfortunately, in my opinion, in my strong opinion, and a lot of the opinions of the people around us in our family, he has not. So throughout the years, he has been a user. He's been somebody that, I used to fawn over, try to get him to be in my life, would let him live with me. He never once had a conversation with me about me being molested by his friend. He never once had a conversation with me about, not one time, about me being a prostitute and I was a child. I had apartments at 17, 18 years old that he would come and stay with me. I would pay for everything. And I would just, and this really, 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 really shaped how I showed up in the world and how I showed up in my relationships to this day. To this day. And I'm like grateful because I'm not finally, but like over the last year or so, I'm really seeing how much this has affected my life in a negative way. Like, and also I'm really grateful for it because, it just teaches me how the next phase of my life, the next years are going to be. It just shows me. And you know, I had an interaction with him this week where I told him straight up, I don't like you, and I know you don't like me. So we're going to stop pretending like we like each other. Because, and I don't pretend like I like him, but I will interact with him because he's family. I got to talk to him because our dad got sick, this and that. But we're not going to play these games like when we have to interact with each other. Because what was happening was I wasn't speaking up for myself enough. And if our dad gets sick and, we got to come together to help in that capacity, then he started utilizing me as a dumping ground for everything that he's going through, right? I don't mind being a listening ear to anyone. But at this point in my life, I got a lot going on myself that I'm trying to manage. And also, if it's not reciprocal relationships, if it's draining relationships, we're not doing that. We got businesses to run. We got things that we got to do. So I literally feel like that a lot of situations that we have, that we go through with our siblings, with our family, with our friends, with it really, all it takes to open that door of healing is compassion, empathy, understanding for the other person. And we also need to remember that two people have two different perspectives of what happened. Two people can feel hurt at the same time in the same relationship. It doesn't have to be one is hurt and the other one did it. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And also, we do not have to continue to pretend on these paths. We don't have to be fake or phony. We don't have to smile through dinners. The holidays are coming up. Your boundaries are important, because what's going to happen is if you don't create boundaries and respect your own boundaries, nobody else will. They won't. They won't respect you. Whether they subconsciously or consciously are disrespecting you, they won't respect you. And then also what happens is when you don't speak up for yourself, or you don't advocate for yourself, or move in the direction of healthy boundary setting and stuff for yourself, you're going to end up having a lot of resentment, and one day you're going to blow up. So recently, over the last few months, when, I have to have any type of interaction with my brother, that resentment comes up. So finally, I had a conversation with him. Not finally, because I've had conversations with him like this before. But recently I've had a conversation with him, and I just expressed to him, like, I see you. I still see how you are. And I'm not going to continue to participate in this. I'm 42 years old. Every time I have to have some type of interaction with you, it triggers me. And this is why, and I have tried over and over and over again to be there for my brother, give him a listening ear, let him dump his shit on me. But I have, over the recent months, told him to stop calling me with his stuff. I don't have the capacity, the emotional capacity to be there for him. He doesn't let me talk to him about anything that I got going on. So if I can't open myself up and flood it all out on you, you can't do that to me. Like, find another outlet. Create you a YouTube channel or something. Get on here to talk to people. Start talking to the people in the comments. You know what I mean? Like, each one teach one. Don't come dumping it on me. So, I've gotten to know myself a lot, and to just realize that these things that I have been through do not have to keep me stuck in a negative space. Continuous healing is possible. Continuous growth is possible. Every time I even try to talk to my brother about anything to see if we can get to a better place, he always projects off on me. It's always I was hurt too. I went through that too. Yes, I understand that. But saying the word too is like a half-assed acknowledgement of the other person's experience. Like, reframing that in a way and say, you know what, Brittany, we both went through that and that was fucked up. Like I said to him, like, we both went through that and that was fucked up. But can we talk about it? Because pushing it down is not going to create a healthy environment for us. Because what was happening was, when we were coming around each other, we were disrespectful. Like, growing up, he was so mean to me. And he said to me the other day that he was mean because, our dad didn't want to have a second child, and our mom and him got pregnant, and here I am. And that he held resentment towards me because it was just supposed to be the three of them. I understand that happens when people have siblings, usually it doesn't carry on into their adult life, but if it does, then it's something, that is still needed to be worked on. Like, I still have things that I needed to have to work on as well. So yeah, the holiday season is coming up, and I just want to jump on here and just talk to y'all about siblings and sibling rivalry, and when it goes past, just the healthy stuff y'all go through growing up, sharing each other's goals. When it gets into traumas and traumatic experiences, and then you got to hang out with these people at the dinner table, like, we're not going to continue to do that. The mask off, like, we're not doing that. I don't do anything with him for Thanksgiving or anything like that. But just in general in life, like, we got to come together. If and when our dad gets sick, like, it's not gonna be we buddy. We're gonna know that we here to take care of business, and that's it. like just throughout the years, like he'll just, ask me dumb shit like, do I think I'm more mature than him? Like just random shade that he'll throw at me, oh, Aunt Brittany's up, the building getting ready to move fast because I get up and I get shit done. I'm just my energy high. You know what I mean? I'm not judging anybody else. My energy just high. And just back once a way that really affected me and how I showed up in the world in relationships because I don't know what the fuck a pick me is. Let's see what that definition is. And this about to be totally transparent, right? Because let's see what that is. I hear that saying all over. Let me see what a pick me is. A pick me girl, meaning, right? Yeah. This fucked up, y'all, because as beautiful as and amazing as I am, right? I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And y'all gotta stop telling these people they pick me girls. Like, let's find a different saying. Because, okay, so let's see. A pick me girl as the woman who obsessively desires male approval and validation. Okay, no, I'm not a pick me girl. I'm not. I take that back. Often at the expense of another woman. That's the part I'm not. So okay. Okay, so I'm not a pick me girl. I hate labels. Like, because can we start having some compassion for these people that are like this? Because maybe they need to like just go have some healing, like have a healing process going on because they're traumatized probably from their dads not being there for them or showing them how a man is supposed to be. Like I told my dad yesterday, I said if I ever decide to date again, I'm gonna choose a man the new example that I know. Not what I knew when I was younger. No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah. Separate herself from other women, no. No. So okay, I'm not. But can y'all leave these girls alone? Like at least, try to have a little compassion for them or whatever. So that's not. But the one characteristic of it is obsessively desiring male approval and validation. And it started with my dad and it started with my brother. And then it became a habit. Even in the lifestyle of prostitution, the validation would be someone choosing me to spend money on me. So the way I look, the way I presented myself, you know what I mean? And that's how I would make my money. That's how I would hustle and get my money. And then moving into intimate relationships, like just not having healthy boundaries in relationships, allowing things to happen throughout the years until I finally ended up in a place where a man shot himself in front of me. And then me having to really take a look at how the fuck did I get here? Like, how did I get to this place? So I'm gonna wrap this up in saying that how I got to that place was not fully knowing myself and continuing to be interested in continuous learning of myself. No one is more important to me than me. That has to be the foundation for healthy and not. My friend the other day was like, what did you so not me in general? We was doing a relationship podcast episode and the question was something along the lines of like, can you be too you know what I mean? Yes, you can. When you're mistreating others and you're not kind to others, you just have this entitled attitude, you're walking around like nobody else matters. No. What I mean by that is you have to take care of yourself first. Mind, body, and spirit. You have to set healthy boundaries for yourself. And the way you do that is getting to know yourself. Um, That's why I wouldn't date at this time because I still don't feel like I would choose a healthy partner. I have to work through the daddy issues that I don't don't really feel like I have daddy issues anymore. I feel like I just have an issue, not an issue, but I still see that I had characteristics up until recently, especially in my relationship with Coach. Just really like, just in my relationships, period, and not even just with men. Like as I reflected and meditated over the last couple of days, I really truly see how I would give a lot of myself, my resources, my knowledge, and I hate that for me. Like, I hate that I cannot just be a given person genuinely and not feel like I'm putting myself in the line of fire. And when I love you, forget about it. So it's like if it's not a healthy person or if I don't have healthy boundaries for myself, I'm just gonna continue down that toxic path. And I feel like I was all over the place with this video, because basically, I had a lot of stuff bottled up the last couple of days. I've been meditating, journaling, just taking time out for myself and my mind, my mental health, to just figure all this stuff out and just come up with the conclusion that we ain't fucking doing that no more. We're not doing that no more. We're not chasing nobody, no relationships, no friendships, none of that. We're not doing that no more. We're going to continue to focus on our healing and our business. So fast forward to this week or whatever, I feel like the universe, God, put this interaction with my brother in my path to show me how far I've come, right? To show me how I would handle situations like that. I don't like interacting with him because I don't like the way I show up in the world for him. I'm very disrespectful. I feel a lot of resentment towards him. And I really truly feel like that a conversation from him with me, with the energy of healing, openness, compassion. And until that happens, we will not move forward in a friendship or a brother, sister, none of that. I never felt protected. I never felt like a brother, sister, connection. Obviously there were a lot of resentment towards me. And then also him learning the characteristics of being an emotionally unavailable man and never not unlearning them. And I have consistently chose emotionally unavailable men because I have been emotionally unavailable. You get what you mirror. I'm no longer emotionally unavailable for my friends, for my family, for my clients, for myself. I'm not. And I'm not going to attract emotionally unavailable people anymore. And when they do come in my path, I will be able to remove myself quickly because that's not what I want for my life and for my businesses. So I will say today to be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. I would like to believe that most of us are out here. I know I am trying to do better every step of the way. I have sat down over the last couple of days and I have taken self-inventory on some of the stuff that I've been doing since last year, the stuff that I've learned, the stuff that I've been engaging in, negative, good and bad, the lessons that I've learned and what I will do moving forward. And I just wanted to jump on here today and share some parts of my story with you and just help to motivate you all to know that if I can change, you can change. I'm not perfect. I got a lot of bullshit still left that I'm working through. But I just wanted to continue to help inspire and motivate others. And just I don't want to. I couldn't imagine passing away. I couldn't imagine passing away at the age that my mother was. I couldn't imagine my child and my family not having me. Um, it's good to see that I'm important to people. It's good to feel important to myself. And yeah, we got a lot of shit to do. We got a lot of shit to do. So we can't go nowhere yet. So yes, I just want to stop by. It's your girl, B.MARIE. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification bell. And be sure to get notified when all new episodes come out. I'm going to continue on this healing journey. I'm going to continue on this entrepreneurship journey. Remember, everything that you go through in life, take a look at yourself first and see what part you played in it, whether it's good or bad. That shit hard as hell to be like, girl, you a bitch. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, or how do you let that person play in your face? Or you might love that person, but that person was for, I got people who I thought that I was close to, and I've made decisions in my life that made us not close to each other anymore. So, just that type of shit is hard, like, to deal with sometimes. Like, you have to really face yourself and just, try to do better the next time. My man used to always be like, do better next time, and yeah, we'll just try to do better next time. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come back and see your girl, B.MARIE, and I love you all. Bye.